What's going on, guys? Alternate Stasio here with FlytPath.com. Now in this video I'm going to talk to you guys about the new Mav Mount Filters. Now if you guys don't know what Mav Mount is, I've talked a lot about it in the past. They are the ones who came out with the actual mount that holds your tablet or large mobile device into your Mavic 2 Pro, your Spark, or your Air controller. They've recently come out with the new filters for the Mavic 2 Pro as well as the Zoom. So stay tuned, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the new filters from Mavmount.com. And here they are, guys, the new Mav Mount Filters by none other than Mavmount.com. Now, if you guys haven't heard of Mav Mount, they actually came out with the tablet holder for your Mavic controller. I've actually been using it for a while, but now they actually released a new set of filters, both for the Mavic 2 Pro as well as the Mavic 2 Zoom. And as you guys know, I've done a lot of reviews on a bunch of different filters, so it was nice to see that Mav Mount kind of expanding out their brand, going into the filter game, and it's kind of nice to see exactly what they came out with, and pretty impressed overall as far as just the look and the packaging that they came with. And for me, I'm a designer, so I'm really big about some of the packaging. They also include a little lens wipe here, and as you can see, I was able to get the 6-pack, the drone 6-pack, which includes an Nd8, Nd8, Nd16, as well as the combination of Nd4 PL or polarizer, Nd8 with polarizer, as well as the Nd16 with polarizer. These are both for the DJI Mavic Pro as well as the Zoom. And if you're unfamiliar with ND or neutral density filters, they're basically ways for you to cut the amount of light that comes into your camera. And if you have the ones with PL or neutral density plus PL or polarizer, you're not only cutting the amount of light that comes through, you're also reducing the amount of glare in the video that might be coming from trees, might be coming from the reflection on water, or even on something like reflective surfaces like glass. Now the glass itself is actually multi-coated glass, and the frame is a lightweight aluminum, and one of the lightest I've actually seen on the market. And the great thing is they also have these little ridges on the side to help you remove and put on the new filters when you're swapping them in and out. And at startup, the lightweight material of these filters made startup and balancing very simple and easy. No issues were noted when I was using these filters. Now, some of these filters can be a little confusing to use, but in a nutshell, what you want to do with filters is reduce the amount of light that comes through so that you're able to properly dial in your shutter speed. Now, if you normally shoot outside without a filter and you're shooting in something like auto, or if you're trying to properly expose, more than likely you're gonna have to shoot at a really high shutter speed, something like 1/800th or 1/1000th or 1/2000th of a second. But the problem with a really high shutter speed is that everything is very sharp. As you can see here, if I were to freeze frame this video, every frame in this video is sharp, which means if I pause it, all the cars look still and they look a little bit too sharp. Now the big thing that you want to be able to do is slow that shutter speed down enough so that it has a little bit more natural blur in the video. And because we were shooting at such a high shutter speed, everything in these frames were nice and sharp and crisp, and that really just doesn't look natural to the eye. So what we're going to do is have a variety of filters to be able to cut that amount of light that comes through, and that's the reason why you have multiple packs and multiple strengths of ND filters. We did the factory one first. Right now it's Nd4 up there. As you can see on my screen, the Nd4 brought my shutter speed down to 2/40th of a second. My ideal shutter speed is going to be 1/60th because I'm shooting at 4K at 30. So I ideally want to get to 1/60th of a second shutter, and Nd4 only brought me to 1/240th of a second. So I'm going to need a stronger ND filter, but let's get a flight up anyways, just to show you the difference. Now, like I mentioned, I'm shooting at 4K at 30, which means we want our shutter speed down to about 1/60th of a second. And Nd4 only brought it down from an 800th to 2/40th. And now when I freeze frame the video, you can see a tiny bit of motion blur, just not enough though, not enough to the naked eye. You want to be able to slow that down a little bit more. So what we want to do now is bump up that ND. That way we're able to slow that shutter speed down, ideally to where we want to be at, which is about 1/60th of a second. All right, so now we put the Nd8 filter onto the Mavic 2 Pro, and the one thing I was able to achieve now is the 1/60th of a second shutter speed. And I had to make a little bit of adjustment to the aperture from an f5.6 to an f7, but that's also the beauty of the Mavic 2 Pro. And as you can see here, I have a little bit of natural motion blur in the cars, where in the beginning videos when I was shooting in 1/800th of a second, each one of those frames were a little too crisp and a little too clean. So you would see the video and it would come out looking a little jaggedy. Here we have a little bit more natural blur in the video. Now it's hard to really look at the difference or see the difference if you're just looking at each individual clip by themselves, but if you put them side by side, as you can see here on the top, we have the 1/800th of a second. Down below we have the more natural motion in the 1/60th of a second. When I freeze frame this video, as you can see, the top video shows all the cars stopped, everything looks crisp and clean and still, and then the bottom has a little bit of that motion. Everything just looks a little bit more cinematic and has a little bit more natural feel to it when you're properly dialing in your shutter speed based on your frames per second of your video. Now when it comes to the quality of the filters, a couple things you want to look for, of course, to see if there's any color casting in the filter itself, to see if there's any color tint, anything that's being displayed a little bit differently than it would have been if you didn't have a filter on there. And as you can see here on the left, there's no filter. On the right, we have the Nd8. I didn't really see any issue with color casting, as well as any loss in clarity when using the filter. All of the footage that you've seen here is also straight out of camera. No post-processing was done. Now overall, as far as my experience with the Mav Mount filters, they've actually been pretty positive. I haven't really had any complaints of them yet. I have been using them for the last couple of weeks now. And they're going up against, some of the big names in the game that have been around. The Freewells, the PGY Tech, and of course Polar Pro have been in this space for a while now. I definitely want to check out some of the new ones from Tiffin. I know Tiffin has some new filters for the Mavic 2 as well, so hopefully I'll get my hands on those and try those out. But overall, very impressed with this first out of the gate type of filter that Mav Mount was able to produce. So there it is, guys. This is the new filters by Mav Mount for your Mavic 2 Pro as well as your Zoom. And Mav Mount was nice enough to give me an extra set of filters for the Pro as well as the Zoom. And to win, it's very simple as always. Just leave a comment down below. Let me know which one you guys have. Do you guys have the Pro or the Zoom? Write those in the comments down below, as well as any questions or comments you might have on these filters. I'll be choosing a random comment winner, so make sure you guys are leaving that information down below in the comment section. I'll be picking a winner later on this week. And as always, if you guys got value from my video, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. This is Nd8 with FlytPath.com. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.